Very important and auspicious at such a time like this. We are talking about how do we harness the opportunities. Of course, you know that Nigeria is blessed with abundant resources, including human resources. Over 70% of the population of this country belong to the youth. Therefore, we need to harness this. We need to put this together and stimulate the economy of this country for growth as much as possible. So that's why we came up with a team for today's event.
Now, when you look at the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which Nigeria is already in, how prepared is the banking industry to tap into the benefits?
Essentially, the banking industry is very much prepared. And let me also say this upfront. The Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria is partnering with the African Continental Free Trade Area and AFREXIM also to provide capacity for trade among African countries playing in the continent, that is the African Continental Free Trade Area. Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria is also partnering with Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAS, in the area of ensuring a common platform for payment among African countries. You will agree with me that that is a very important platform that will facilitate trade among African countries. So these are key areas providing capacity, certification among that area. So that's very key. And Chartered Institute of Bankers and the entire banking community is well positioned to take advantage of that.
Recently, we've been hearing about capitalization in the banking sector. So why is the bank going to this time?
I think first to say is that it's a business decision. Of course, you can see that with the devaluation of Naira, it takes so much, of course, to do activities that the banks need to do. If you look at that, what you used to have as $10 million, for instance, has dropped. So you need a larger, capital base in terms of capitalization and capital adequacy to be able to consummate most of those transactions. And of course, companies are also growing. For you to service these companies, you need larger capital base. So that is also why the industry is looking to shore up their capital base. So it's a business decision, and I think it's the best thing that will obviously happen.
Thank you very much.
We're looking at strategic imperatives for growing the economy. You have been in this industry. You were in Bank of Industry. Yeah. So you understand what the challenges are. What do you think should be pertinent in the conversation for harness the potentials of this economy?
We need financial resources, substantial financial resources that are to be mobilized from within and outside Nigeria to, for example, double our GDP from the current figure of $450 billion to about $1 trillion by 2031. We definitely need huge resources, and the banking industry has a very, very important role to play in terms of mobilizing resources from within Nigeria and also attracting resources from outside Nigeria. So that's why we all have to ensure that we ensure the stability of the banking industry, have a lot of confidence, because confidence is important. Going to mobilize resources. Nobody will part with their savings, right, to an institution or an industry that they don't have confidence in. So the Cibn is playing a very, very important role, and hence even the theme of this year's Investiture, which has to do with imperatives for achieving our growth and economic development.
Nigeria is currently facing a foreign exchange crisis, and there seems to be no end to that crisis. So what's your suggestion on how to go about this issue?
The greatest supplier of foreign exchange to the Nigerian economy has been the oil industry in the last 50 or 60 years. So until we are able to achieve, for instance, our OPEC production quota, that problem will not be solved. And achieving our OPEC production quota means also being able to tackle oil theft. That's huge economic sabotage. If you remember, in 2016 or even 2007, when President Obasanjo was leaving and President Yar'Adua was coming, the oil companies could not pump oil. They could not produce, they couldn't meet our quota. That was why the amnesty program was brought into place in 2007. That was the political solution. and then we're able to beef up our production and earn foreign exchange. In 2016 as well too, that was what got us out of our recession. We had to go to the Niger Delta area to settle with the boys there. If you remember, that was when Investiture was Minister of Petroleum. We made peace with them. Because when we made peace with them, we had to boost production and then we earned income. So this time around, we must be able to increase production and stop oil theft. If oil theft is stopped, I believe within a month, things can turn around for this country. Because all we need to do is to increase supply of foreign exchange. It's a supply side challenge, not demand side problem.
Your name, sir?
Thank you. My name is Dr. Wahid Olagunju. I used to be the acting managing director of Bank of Industry.
Who is asking?
Channel Institute of Bankers for its efforts towards the development of banking profession within Nigeria and also beyond. The choice of today's theme, which is harnessing our economic potentials, I think is very apt, given the fact that we need to brainstorm on how to harness our economic potentials in order to help the government achieve its agenda of renewed hope. At any opportunity, we at NDIC, we want to call on depositors of the closed microfinance banks and primary mortgage banks whose licenses were revoked in May this year to come to NDIC so that we can get them, so that we can pay them the insured amount. We have already paid those with alternate bank accounts that they have BVN with the banks. But those without BVN, there was no way we could determine the alternate account. So I want to seize this opportunity to call on those depositors to come to NDIC, either in Lagos or in any of our zonal offices, so that they can get verified, so that we can pay them the insured amount. And subsequently, we are going to announce when we are going to pay liquidation dividend. About 3 weeks ago, we have also advertised that we want to pay liquidation dividend to depositors and for some banks, even creditors, of about 20 banks that have been in liquidation. And the total amount that we hope to pay these beneficiaries is about 1.6 billion. Thank you.
Congratulations one more time.
Thank you so much.
What does this mean to you in your work for the grassroots and financing entrepreneurs within the grassroots? What does this mean for you?
Well, it is very clear that it is a recognition of microfinance. Before it's actually my own personal recognition, because several years ago, about 30 years ago, we believed that you could take banking from the glass house and take banking to the streets. That we have successfully done. I think it's more for that reason that this award has come to me. But it's also important to know that award could be a recognition of an accomplishment, but it is also more of a motivation to do more. I strongly believe that empowering the people at the bottom end of the society, there is still so much to be done. And I hope that I will continue to commit myself to that.
All right, let me change the narrative. We talked about harnessing potentials for economic growth in Nigeria. Strategic imperative. Let's look at the microfinance imperative in this conversation.
You see, microfinance is a very strong strategy for meaningful development and of course poverty alleviation. What it means is that if you want to develop any society, you must pay attention, you must empower the large number of that society at the bottom. That is the ordinary people. I think for a very long time, we might not have done that. But if we want to move forward, we want to meaningfully address the issue of poverty, we must empower those people for them to be able to enhance their income earning capability. Once they do that, they're likely going to enhance the condition of living for members of their household.
So with the hardship in the country now and the poverty rising, so how can microfinance banks survive and how are they able to?
Microfinance bank ordinarily is called poverty lending. That is a lending arrangement that supports people who are in poverty. So it is also said that the harder the situation is, the more microfinance should be provided to enhance the capacity of the poor people to be able to walk out of poverty. So at this point, I think the emphasis should be that we do everything in terms of capacity for microfinance bank, in terms of resources for microfinance bank to deliver services promptly to people at the bottom end who own micro and small businesses.
Looking at the growth of the bank, is there any plan to diversify into commercial banking?
I don't think that should be our expectation. We will continue to serve the ordinary people. No matter how big we are, we continue to serve the ordinary people. If you talk about shareholders fund or capitalization, we are eminently qualified to become a commercial bank, but we do not want to do that.
What are your expectations from the new Cibn government?
With the expectation of, I think the expectation of everybody in the banking sector, that's not different.
My name is Lara Binta Hassan. I'm the CEO and founder Mother Hen Initiative, a non-governmental organization.
Congratulations for this fellowship award. So how do you feel about the award, man?
Thank you. I feel so elated. I feel so wonderful because this is an examination we did 10 years ago, and now the fellowship is being conferred on one. That is an indication that the diligence and hard work paid. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very elated. I feel awesome.
How do you expect this fellowship to move you to work more?
Okay, the conferment of the fellowship shows that you should be diligent in all what you are doing. You are representing also the institute that has given you this fellowship, so you have to be dedicated in what you do. You should serve also as a mentor to the upcoming ones. So that is what is going to encourage me. And in my NGO that I run, also we have women empowerment session and other things. So I'm going to also assist women in ensuring that they are empowered and they do well as entrepreneurs.
Yes, I'm going to ask. Tell us more about your NGO. What is this all about, and what are your goals and objectives, and at what stage are you right now?
Okay. The NGO is Mother Hen Initiative, like I said. We are into empowerment of women. We also do girl child education. We also do welfare of the orphans and less privileged in the society. We have done a number of outreaches. We have empowered women in Plateau State, almost 50 women early last year. We have done Almajiri outreach for the underprivileged in Plateau State as well. We also have done girl child education empowerment. But we are going to do another round of girl child empowerment in Abuja within the next 2 months. So that's how far we have been doing and how far we've gone with the NGO. So it's a lot of work, and anyone who wants to join us can feel free to do that.
Okay, and lastly, what motivated you into starting such an NGO?
Okay, what motivated me to open an NGO is the love for humanity, the love for the girl child, the love for women. I have seen how a number of them suffer. I've seen girl child who could not go to school because there's no 2,000 naira to pay for school fees. I have seen the Almajiris on the streets, how they eat, how they go to beg for food and other things. So this has made me to sit back and think, what do I do to impact society? How do I help my own community? That is the reason for the NGO.